What did you pull out of the garden?
Some potatoes and tomatoes and green onions. We got a lot of. So honestly, I just want to get started with the chores today. I just want to go. So this is like fast food. I really need to get out to the market garden today because it's supposed to be 100 degrees all week, and there are a lot of cabbages and green beans and red onions and leeks and tomatoes that need to be harvested. So that's what I'm hoping we can do today, is maybe do a little of that, a little bit of cleanup at the pig pen. Yeah.
What are you making?
I'm gonna make some breakfast tacos. So I fried some potatoes in lard, then added in some tomatoes and green onions and eggs and a little bit of cabbage, and we're gonna eat them in some corn tortillas and call it good. More coffee though, definitely more coffee first. Right? We're ready.
Out there on the table. Breakfast time. Juliet, William, breakfast time. Georgia, breakfast time.
Looking suave, Daddy.
Hey guys, I got a song in my brain. Where did the dinosaurs go? Where did the dinosaurs go? Did they go to space? Did they go to the doctors? When they...
Here we are in the market garden towards the end of July now, and I have to say, of all the experiments we've done on the farm, this is probably our most successful one. Wouldn't you say? We've been hauling stuff out of here all spring and all summer so far, and there's still so much to go, so many beds to be harvested and replanted and reworked.
So it's been a while since we've done an update on the market garden. What are the kinds of things we've pulled out of the market garden so far?
It's an excellent point, Stuart. Excellent.
Thank you. I'm full of good points.
You are. So we've harvested a full bed of beets, a full bed of storage carrots. What else?
Cabbages?
Cabbages, greens, spinach, kales, collard greens, potatoes.
Turnips.
Yellow onions. Purple onions and leeks are ready to come out. We just haven't made it out here yet. We've been harvesting tomatoes just as a come and get 'em kind of a crop. Our corn's doing great. This is our little broom corn just for fun over here. We've gotten a few different harvests of salad greens and microgreens. So we kind of are just continually planting those as we go through. So some of the stuff we've already been able to replant, like this bed here has been replanted in more carrots. This bed originally was beets and now it's corn and squash. Oh, okra too. The okra and peppers are doing really great. So those are longer season crops, so those will be in basically until fall, so we won't really turn those over. But, I mean, honestly, I feel like we could have probably even pushed this garden even more. We could have harvested things a little bit earlier, done slightly shorter season crops, but you know, we're still getting our feet wet with this. We're still trying to figure it all out, and it may look really successful when you look at it, and it is. It's been great for us, but what you don't see is me texting my farmer friend Grace every 3 days and saying, now what do I do now? How do I plant this? When do I plant this? When do I harvest this? So, but you know, it's a learning process. That's why we're here, to learn.
So what have been some of the most successful things in the garden?
I think the green beans, honestly, have probably been one of our most successful crops. That's one of those crops that I've always grown like, you know, 30 of, and I felt really successful. But this year we grew, what, a 40-foot row of them, I think. And we've been harvesting them like crazy. I've probably preserved 10 gallons of green beans. They were awesome. We used a trilogy variety from Johnny's, a bush bean, and they've just done really, really well. So this is the trilogy, and they have these yellow kind of wax ones, and then your standard green, and then these purple ones, which do turn green when you cook them. But it sure makes picking them fun. I will forever be the horrible gardener when it comes to tomatoes, because this was gonna be the year. Remember, I told y'all this was gonna be the year. We were gonna get our tomatoes in order and we weren't gonna be monsters about it. And look what has happened. We've trellised them once and we haven't trellised or pruned them again. And now this is the result. This is the jungle. It wasn't supposed to be like this, honey. Remember?
Yes.
We said we were gonna be better humans this year.
It's always next year.
Well, this was supposed to be next year.
Well, but yeah, but this year can't be next year. Next year's always next year.
I guess so.
Yeah, we'll get
I guess
next.
we'll just
We'll
have
get
to
next.
get them next year.
Yeah, it's like the free beer tomorrow sign.
Hey, yeah. Yeah. Except one's a reflection of our quality as a human being, and especially as a gardener.
Yeah. I don't see how free beer tomorrow reflects our gardening.
So this was a really delicious salad variety that we grew from Johnny's, just a mix, and it grows in like 5 days. I mean, so fast. And they were doing so great, but you know, I said, I'm gonna harvest those and then I'm gonna store them in my refrigerator where they would keep for a few weeks and not bolt. And look what I've done, you guys. I let them bolt, see this? So now they're kind of bitter and not as good. So they need to just be pulled and given to the chickens. But look how beautiful that is, even though it's not really good to eat. So these cabbages were wildly successful this year. If you remember, one of our geese got in and pulled all of our storage cabbages out. But we bought these starts from a local nursery and they did really well. They all have heads on them and they're getting really big. We've been harvesting them for a few weeks now already. But there was one trick to growing these cabbages that I will not look over again. And that is we put an insect paper that you can buy from Johnny's over the top. So it was like that white kind of fabric tarp that you saw in a lot of the other videos. And that kept the insects from getting into them. Eventually they got so big that it kind of stretched the fabric, so we just took it off. But it kind of gave them that like head start. Anyway, for what it's worth, the insect barrier was worth every penny. I will not grow cabbages without it again. Or probably radishes or turnips, for that matter.
What are some of the things that we've had a more difficult time with this year?
Well, We kind of had a problem with our collard greens because the ants were eating them. Our artichokes totally flopped, and I don't know why. I've successfully grown artichokes last 3 or 4 years, and these ones are alive, but look how big they are. I mean, they look like I planted them 3 weeks ago. I don't understand it. And I think okra is always a bit of a challenge in the northern climate because it's like perfectly ripe for 5 hours. And then it gets too big and it gets really tough. Like this guy. I was just out here last night. See that?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be...
Too tough?
It gets like stringy and tough and like cardboard, like you can't chew it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think okra is always a little bit of a challenge, but you know, even if you can get a little bit, I think it's worth it because I think it's delicious. But yeah. I think those were probably our 2 biggest flops this year. Am I missing any? Would you like to remind me of any of my other shortcomings at all?
Plant-wise, I think that's probably true. I think the voles have been...
The voles.
Have been
a huge problem in this market garden. So this land, like we've said, hasn't been worked in 30 years. Not really thinking that that would mean a vermin problem, which I don't know why I didn't think that. But they've wreaked havoc on the carrots, the beets, the potatoes particularly. So we finally found this kind of like, I don't know, it's like a natural herbal spread that you put out and they just don't like the smell of it, so it pushes them away, and that has helped. But we didn't really try that until we'd already lost a ton of crop. So, you know, it's just a process. I think part of it is just continuing to moderate the space. The more you're here moving around, shuffling things, the less likely they are to be here. But yeah, I wasn't really expecting that to be such a problem this year. I think the only other thing I really wish we would have done in this market garden is move the rows just a little bit further apart. Because at the height of summer, like we are now, it feels a little closed in. But of course, when you're planting your garden in February, it always makes more sense to fill in a few more rows and make room for a few more crops. But I think that one of the greatest perks of the market garden that has really surprised me is just the yield we can get and the attention that we can give each crop when we're doing it in a solid row. Just because you can work it so much easier and see it so much easier. The broad fork especially has helped with that. So I've been kind of surprised, honestly, at how successful the market garden has been. But I hear a chicken coming. They know we're in here. I don't know, what do you think, Stu?
I think it's been good. I've been happy.
You been happy with it?
About it, yeah. I think it's been a lot to maintain.
Sure.
And...
See, I would say like the opposite almost. I feel like it kind of self-maintains other than when you're working the beds.
Yeah, I guess right off the bat, it was a lot.
Right off the bat, it was a lot to set
up. And yeah, and I think, you know, we definitely have some tweaks to make next year, just in terms of water and,
maybe get some drip lines in.
Yeah, exactly. Should have done that, but got behind and didn't. So.
It's hard to do it all.
Yeah, there's always next year.
There's always next year.
Free beer tomorrow.
Lord willing.
Yeah. So. No, I overall have been very happy, and we've always tried to grow too much in too small an area, and so it's been nice just to devote this entire area just to growing, you know, as much as we can, and we probably did a little too much again, but it was the right spot for it.
Certain crops.
Yep. Yeah.
Way too much kale.
Yeah, definitely.
Way too much kale. Peppers and potatoes and onions.
Yep, I'm very happy about the peppers.
Super happy with those harvests.
Yep.
And we are going to have some serious sauerkraut this year. Yep. Like gallons and gallons and gallons of sauerkraut. And we've already been able to put up kimchi from the Chinese cabbage. That's already come and gone. So if you're starting a garden, if you're just getting started in a space, you know, there's something to be said for the charming potager, romantic cottage style vegetable patch. But doing things in these rows, I mean, it's efficient. There's a reason people do it like this when they're growing for market. You really can't beat it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever be without a market garden again, for sure.
And we've still been able to have the cottage garden, and we've actually pulled quite a good crop from the
Right.
cottage garden as well. So
things like cauliflower. You know, if we get cauliflower, it's great. If we don't, you know, it doesn't devastate me. And so those were perfect crops to grow in the potager. Just a few potato plants, a few tomato plants, some herbs, stuff like that. Oh, this okra's making my fingers itchy. Really bad.
Wear your gloves, boo?
I don't have any gloves.
Oh. Doing a great job, by the way.
Hey, thank you. You're doing a great job too.
Thank you.
Ta-da! It's beautiful to look at. So this mama quail has been in our rhubarb for weeks now. Scares the daylights out of me every time I come over here. And I just checked on her today, and these were still intact, but it looks like they all hatched. That's special. I'm gonna keep these. These are fun.